What's up, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of Black Belt Beauty Radio. You guys, I'm so psyched to introduce you to my girl, literally my wing woman, Margie Daly. What's up, Margie?
Hi, how are you?
I'm so excited to be here in this space with you. Margie she's literally my right hand and my left hand in Black Belt Beauty. She is team Black Belt Beauty to the core. And, it's really exciting. So the key thing that we want to focus on in this conversation, which is something that is part of the core teaching, the 5 S's, and really just a part of a lot of our conversations lately is self-awareness.
Yes.
Yeah. It's a big subject, right? It's like we hear all these self-regulating, self-inquiry, self-actualization, self-love, self-confidence, like all the selves. I'm all about the selves. Self-awareness is really at the foundation to this 5S formula, right? So we have, in sequential order, we have self-awareness, which lends to more self-connection, which lends to real self-love, which lends to, it's the precursor to self-confidence, true self-confidence, which gives you, the what we're all really wanting in our life, which is, to me, the MVP in living a very empowered life, which is self-trust, right? So without self-awareness, we really are not going to be on this path to get to this deep level of unbreakable self-trust. And to just throw us right into it, Margie, let's use real life in the moment. So this morning, I didn't sleep good. There was some things going on outside, like power guys were working on electricity stuff. So it disturbed my sleep. So I woke up super early, as I do, but without, good quality sleep. Trigger number 1, right? Trigger number 2, I didn't get as much movement in as I usually like to do in the morning, but, it was because I was doing some other important things, but it was still a little bit of a trigger for me, right? Trigger number 3, fucking parking ticket. Wait.
Oh,
Let's
welcome
back up.
to beach living right there, by the weather. Construction, parking tickets.
Seriously. And actually, let's back up and say the weather was a trigger for me because, and I'm literally texting you complaining about the weather. I'm like, oh, it's so cloudy. I mean, granted, it's almost August, and I've been looking forward to summer all fucking year. I'm like, where you at, summer? Because I want you, But meanwhile, I'm just complaining because I'm like, oh, I want energy. Oh, and it's like Eeyore weather and
right. All these external factors, right?
All these external stimulus, like things that are, triggering me, stimulus. And, all of it really pulled me into this place where because I am very self-aware, right? Like I'm watching myself. Maybe in the moment, I'm not stopping myself. I'm still complaining to you. I'm still being annoyed. I'm still all those things, but I'm aware of what's happening because I put reps into this self-awareness fortification, process. And, we knew that we had this conversation coming up and we had to be on time. We have a lot of things to do today, right? And so, my final parting words before taking a break was, okay, I'm going to reset right now. I'm going to pull myself together, recalibrate, and then I'm going to jump on and do this with you. Right. And it worked. I literally had a moment to just, take some deep breaths, put on some music that really centered me. I asked myself, what do I need to nourish me to feel really good right now? Because sorry, you can't control the sun. You can't reverse the ticket. It is what it is.
Or the construction.
Exactly.
They don't really care.
They certainly don't care. You can't control that stuff.
Right.
And the way that you're moving right now is not in alignment with who you really know yourself to be, which is someone that is not reactive, which is someone that's responsive, which is someone who has the ability to be emotionally disciplined and to be emotionally agile, right? And so, I asked myself, what do you need right now to just really pull yourself together to feel good so that you can perform, on a level that you want to perform, which is always my best. And I needed some self-love, man. I was telling you before we started, I pulled out this eyeshadow palette that I haven't used in ages. It's one of my favorites, and put on a little extra eyeshadow, and it fucking felt great. And I was like, all right, let's rock and roll, baby.
And it looks beautiful.
Thank you. Thank you.
Your self-love worked.
Self-love. Oh my gosh, it really does work,
Yeah.
So I want to, I feel like this is a really important subject. Always, it's timeless, but especially being that we are in a place right now where hour by hour shit is just changing on us. Things feel, we're on a roller coaster.
Yeah,
right?
we're in a state of the world of our lives where things are completely out of our control. Everything is out of our control. I have talked to so many friends, other moms that are living this, that are, decisions are being made for us.
Yeah.
Schools are being shut down, daycares, people are losing their jobs. There's a lot of things that are out of our power right now.
Which completely puts you in this position where you can feel, your emotions are being rocked. You're being triggered all the time. One minute it's this, and the next minute it's that, and you don't know. If you're not self-aware, if you're not aware of how you're, reacting to these scenarios,
yes,
you're gonna be swept with the tides, and before you know it, you're on this. You're not really conscious. You're not present. You're not in control of yourself.
Right.
Which is really the only thing we can ever have control of, right? I know we hear it all the time, but I don't know if we hear as many strategies to pull you into.
I totally agree. And I think it's so important to be fluid. I think it's so important to be flexible. I think it's also important to keep direction in that regard, and again, and kind of bringing us back out, in the sense of, and to kind of keep it with that theme of self-awareness.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, you're not, like, the very purpose of understanding that things are out of our control. That's literally the first step in awareness, is realizing that we have no other choice but to be able to work through this. And so if you don't realize that you even have that, then you're lost, like you said, and you end up floating down the river.
No, it's so true. I mean, child of the 80s, G.I. Joe, knowing's half the battle, right? It's like their, one of their things.
I love
but
it.
It's so true. And it's, we were talking about this the other day, how I just want to illustrate a story because I feel like it could be really helpful to drive a point home. But, I was getting ready to go out and do some morning movement out on the beach in the backyard. And I was super pumped to get on it, and, got myself ready, walk out the door, and literally it was like sprinkles or something, but it wasn't even sprinkles. It was, I think that the clouds were just really low. So, because at the beach that happens.
Yeah.
And I was like, fuck.
I'm seeing a pattern here, Roxy. You are not a fan.
I've lived my years in New York City. New York, I love you forever, baby, but your gloom, we're good. Like, that's where the Hawaiian part of me, from all my life and years of living in Hawaii reigns over that, But anyway, so I was like, all right, you know what? No, I'm not gonna let this stop me. I'm just gonna go, whatever, it'll go away. Well, it didn't go away. It got worse, and it actually turned into like, rain on me. And, I'm, half a mile in on a walk on the beach, and I found myself getting very frustrated, feeling very frustrated. I found myself annoyed and just on edge, and even that, when you realize that you're in that space, sometimes that's a trigger for even more, right? Unless you have these skill sets of just being able to pull yourself back in, reel it in, and create this space, which is ultimately what happened. Create this space between you and your emotions, you and your thoughts, right? They kind of go hand in hand. And so in that moment, after realizing that I was walking around feeling super tense and irritable and frustrated, which is never where I want to be living, right? I then pulled out of my arsenal, my self-awareness arsenal, some self-inquiry questions that I like to ask myself when I find myself in this kind of scenario. Question number one. And I think, for the listeners, if you guys want to literally write these down, I think it's a great idea because they never fail me. They always pull me into this place where I can, I'm not judging. I'm literally observing like a student, so I can decide how I want to move forward. So question number one is this stimulus, is your reaction to this stimulus worth what you are feeling right now? So is this rain worth your frustration? Okay. Like when you put it like that, it's like,
right. You feel kind of dumb, don't you?
Yeah. Is this rain worth feeling tense and irritable?
Right.
Well, no. Okay. And maybe sometimes you're going to be in a situation where the answer could actually be yes. Maybe somebody cut you off in traffic and it scared the shit out of you because you're like, oh my God, I almost died or something. The answer to that might be yes. Okay, cool. It's not about positivity. It's about realness and like really being inquisitive with yourself, right? And so the next question I like to ask myself is this how you want to proceed? Do you want to continue feeling this way? So in that case, like, do you want to continue feeling frustrated because of the rain? Do you want to continue feeling tense because of the rain? Well, the answer was no. But let's just say your answer was yes, right? To play both sides. This was worthy of this feeling. This person almost fucking killed me or whatever, ran into whatever. Then the next question is, do you want to continue feeling pissed, angry, scared? That's a really powerful question, right? And usually, sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say it puts you in a state of ownership again, I think, by asking these questions and being curious about these feelings that are coming up.
I love that you said curious because that really goes with the whole student perspective. It's like you're so curious to learn and to understand that you're not in this place of judgment. You're not mad at yourself for being frustrated. You're not mad at yourself for whatever you're feeling or thinking. You're literally you're processing what you're going through, and
because if so, it perpetuates the cycle. And I made a joke and said that you feel pretty dumb, and I take that back because I think we do want to stay in this place of non-judgmental, like, neutral positioning, right? And so I think it is. So if I could tattoo the word curious on my forehead, I would do it because I think it's so important to consider that in these scenarios because that does allow you to create that space. It does allow you to create that decision making process that you were explaining. And it's so helpful.
It's so true. No, I love that you're putting emphasis on that. And it's one of my favorite words. I think there's a reason why, those who are the most curious, if we think of someone like Elon Musk, for example, that is a curious human being.
Yes.
That is an amazingly curious human being who just continued to move through his life in this curious state, which consistently leads him to incredible. Yeah.
Right? Like he's literally going to space.
Just like out of this world. Yeah, exactly. Shooting for the stars. Like,
yes.
Yeah. Well, so, going back to that question number 2, it's really this, even if your answer to question number 1 was a yes, I'm going to go ahead and say most likely if that scenario that you're in, your emotional state that you're in that moment isn't serving you, isn't on your highest path, like you're not operating from your highest self, you're more than likely going to say, no, I don't want to continue this. I don't want to feel frustrated. And I don't want to feel scared or tense or irritable or whatever, right? Then you ask yourself the next question, which for me was, Cool. So what do you want to feel in place of these emotions? So it's
I
not,
like that. What
thank
do you
you.
want to feel? Yeah.
Right. Well, because energy is energy. It's like we need to transmute it. We need to take this energy and turn it into this energy. So, we've said this before, like turn your frustration into fascination, right? Um there's so many different examples in that way, right? But it's just this idea of, for me in that moment, it was like, I want to feel grateful. I want to feel at ease, in harmony. I want to feel excited, things of that, and then, and that is going to look different for everybody, right? In whatever situation you're going through. But it's just this idea. The takeaway is, take these emotions that you're feeling and think about the emotions that you want to replace with them to move yourself forward. Now you have, ingredients to cook the recipe that is going to be your energetic state. Like that's, you know what I mean? Like this energetic state. The final thought that I had in that moment, and the final question is, what is something great that has come out of this? And this is really tricky because let's just say you're in a shitty situation, going back to the car, you got cut off or whatever. Honestly, I'm a firm believer that there's always, you might have to do a lot of digging. You might not even get it right in the moment, but there's always a gain from some kind of hardship, some adversity, challenge. There is. If we think of COVID and quarantine, of course, what is on stage is all the negative, all the shitty things, all of the hard. But there are so many things that I can personally think of that have been gains
Yeah.
from this situation.
Transformations
Yeah.
that are happening because we're forced to be alone. We are forced to look in. We're forced to look at ourselves in the mirror, and hopefully bring on that self-awareness. I know in my own life, I've definitely faced, as we all are, facing challenges that this has presented. And this has been a really incredible time for me. I can say that, with a lot of sensitivity to the current political climate, and all of the things that have
Yeah. I
been
mean,
brought up in
listen,
the last few months.
a lot of people feel like they have to always say that, like with
Yeah.
respect. you're
Yes.
you're allowed to feel good when shit's not going good.
I think it's important to feel good when shit's not going good.
Why? I love that.
Because I think that that's how we sustain this. And I think that's how we fucking face challenge. I think it's the only way that you can face challenge, that you can go into battle, like you were saying. You have to, I think, I'm not sitting here celebrating the fact that there were riots, less than 6 weeks ago. Of course
Yeah.
not. But I think I was also able to be in a mental position where I could sit with that,
Yeah.
and also, be aware of how I'm going to start showing up for myself and start showing up for other people, my son, my partner. Yeah, I think it's
I love
really
it.
important.
Yeah, no, it really is. I love it because it's this idea of energy that you're carrying, right? Do we all
Yeah.
need to carry, you know, listen, to pull it back into self-awareness, it's like, do you want to be in this state of where you're just constantly reactionary, or do you want to be ahead of the
Right.
game and be in control of your emotions, emotional discipline, to be in this state where it's like, you know what, while this is true, this is hard, this is shitty, this is all those things, I'm also able to stand in a very strong, elevated space and notice the wonderful things that are also taking place, be it in my personal life, be it in the external. I think it's really important because that energy is the energy that is going to sustain us. Like you said, it is going to help us move through challenges, the challenges that we're all facing, right? It's like how you're
Right.
showing up. If you're
Yes.
showing up as this just woe is me and
Victim.
right, negative mindset, shitty energy, all that, for yourself, number one, and then for everybody else. I mean, how is that helping the collective? Just not.
Right, exactly. And it also shows me, and again, I feel like I can speak to this because I was there. So this is not, I just want to make that very clear. This is not coming from a place of being on a pedestal, because trust me, there are definitely still moments, I'll probably feel it today, where I have been a fucking victim, right? Like, and I can only say that because I was probably there yesterday. I was probably, we were there this morning with the weather and the
That's what
parking
I'm
ticket and all that
saying.
shit, right?
It's
Right.
yeah.
And it's so important, I think, to again, like kind of bringing this all back together. It's so important that you are recognizing that that is the role that you're taking on. You are a victim. I was a victim because I was complaining about the weather. So what am I going to do with it?
I love that.
But I think it's so beautiful what you're saying, because it does lead to this path of, okay, so what do we do with this? Are we going to be in a place of gratitude today? Are we going to be in a place of harmony? It leads to this path in a direction that we can continue on from.
It gives you authority in your life. You are, and that's really important, because it is your life, and you want to be in control of your decisions, of your actions, of your emotions. Your emotions are what are causing you to make those decisions and move into those actions. So if you don't have emotional discipline, if you can't pivot, which is emotional agility, then it's, your decisions and your actions are also going to be, not authored by your highest self, by your most ideal self, by how we always frame it, Black Belt Beauty, like your most empowered, capable, badass self, right? And I personally, like, I always want to be. I mean, I wasn't her this morning, and that's okay. Like, and I love that you brought that up, because it's not like there's mastery in this.
No.
There's forever and ever and ever, as long as I'm here in this life, and as long as you're living your life, we're going to get attacked with the weather, with like all kinds of shit,
with our own thoughts. Yeah,
with our own thoughts, like all kinds of things, to where we, now it's like all of a sudden, game on, self-awareness, game on, all this stuff. And so it's like, it's all opportunities to make gains in these spaces. It's repetition work, right? It's so important. So Margie, I think right now is a great time to kind of bring these questions back up as I wrap this episode. This is more of a bite-sized episode of a big subject. I mean, self-awareness is so deep, and it's something that is a continuous part of the conversation with Black Belt Beauty, of all the things that we've got coming up that are going to be launching soon to help the individual get deeper into self-awareness. And I think I want to actually insert this as well, because you and I have talked a lot about like depression and things like that. And while mental illness that's a big subject and kind of like its own conversation.
Absolutely.
Essentially it's separate from this in some ways, but not fully. What I want to say about it is that, you may be someone going depression or having these, issues emotionally. I'll just
where you get stuck. Right.
Where you get stuck. I believe that just having these questions in your arsenal may not be the cure-all, but they're a supportive tool. I mean, don't you, I want to ask you, actually, have you found in recent months some of, our conversations we've had around self-awareness, and we've integrated some of these questions in your personal life. Do you feel that it's helped you with the fortification of your own self-awareness, even as you have gone through, I mean, even PMS, girl? That's a fucking hormone thing. That's like, it trips you up. It trips me up,
Takes us by surprise. Yeah, absolutely. And as somebody that, I mean, I've struggled with, I hate saying struggled, because it's not
okay. It's okay.
But it's not like, I feel like it's so disempowering, but it's also, it hones in the fact that it's, what am I trying to say?
Can I say something about that though? Because it's so perfect what you just did right now. The reason why you now, I would almost bet, I'm okay to be wrong, that a year ago, you might not have noticed the word struggle the way you just did.
Oh, no, I would not have. I would have said suffered from depression. I
Okay.
suffered from depression.
Right.
I
And
mean,
the
I probably
reason,
would have said that 4 months ago. Let's be real. Yeah. So as
which
somebody that
validates.
has, yes, it really is. It's so validating. And I have definitely, it's something that has been woven throughout my life since, God, I would say 14 easily.
Yeah.
So I've definitely, it's something that, had to become really good friends with it. And then especially postpartum and,
Yes.
marriage and partnership and
Life.
life, right? And
Life.
so to answer your question, 100%, it has helped me. I mean, like you said, we all have our days, and I'll probably go into it at some point today,
And
but
me too. I
yeah,
mean,
yeah, exactly.
exactly.
Yeah, it's not a mastery. However, the first step is always that awareness. As soon as I can get there, it might take me an hour. It might
Yeah.
take me, I mean, I have been through panic attacks. I have been through gnarly fights. I have been through gnarly tears. I have
Yeah.
been in situations where I just, it's like this, it's this place you feel like you'll never get out of. And do you know
Yeah.
what's funny is as soon as I can, the one thing that does seem to pull me out of, and it could be a different situation for everybody, or experience for everyone, is when I can see myself through it. When I can, they say like get out of the picture, step out of the picture frame kind of thing.
Yeah, well, you zoom out and you get a fuller perspective of who you're being in the moment, and
Who am
and
I
then you get to
being?
who
Yes.
you're being, and then you get to decide, is this who I want to be? It's
Right.
it's so powerful. It's
Yes. It is very, very powerful. And it's also, it's not, you cannot give that to anybody else. Nobody else can do that for you. You
no,
have to do it for yourself. And
right.
then that's where you
Yeah,
get
and
empowered.
just to throw, I love that you brought that up, because I'm going to insert this. A lot of people run from this work because a lot of people don't want to admit that they're acting like a victim. Do you think it felt good to witness myself fucking complaining? No, I'm the anti-complainer. Like, I literally posted yesterday, complaining is so amateur.
I know.
And now I'm complaining about the weather.
You know what
But
I would love to do? I would love to do a no complaint challenge.
oh, oh
One
shit.
day
One
of
day,
no
or do we just start it right now? No complaining.
24 hours. No complaining.
24 hours. Wait, I love this idea of a no complaining challenge, because it really does also help with self-awareness. So actually what I want to do, Margie, is we're going to put in the show notes the 5 questions that we've stated in this episode. So you
Love
can
it.
actually save these questions, put them in your journal, and actually get to work on them. Okay.
Yes.
And we're also going to invite you onto this no complain 24-hour challenge. And we would like you, the listener, to let us know that you beat this challenge or not, because you could always start back over the next day. But let us know, DM us at BlackBeltBeauty. And yeah, we'll help you celebrate the win or encourage you to start all over the next day. And, hopefully fucking win that day.
Yes, keep us posted. I
Yeah.
love to hear other people's situations and stories. It's so motivating and inspiring.
You're motivating and inspiring. Okay, so to be continued, this is a subject that's going to keep going on. You guys, a couple of things before we leave. We want to let you know that you can officially watch all of these episodes on our YouTube channel now. So go to Black Belt Beauty's channel on YouTube, subscribe. And the other thing that I'm so excited about, Margie girl, is our wait list to jump into our Black Belt Beauty Queendom exclusive membership group. It's going to be really incredible. I'm so excited. This is going to be a space where there's high level content and high level community love and support to help women live from this next level, capable, badass, empowered version of themselves. I'm really excited about it. So the link is in my bio, Roxy Lick, or you can go to blackbeltbeauty.com to sign up and get on that wait list. Is there any parting words that you have? My love, thank you so much for just showing up here, being my incredible wing woman. You are a black belt beauty and then some. I love you.
I am so, so, so happy and grateful to be here. And I'm just so grateful for all of our listeners and for our queendom. I have taken so much from this and from all of the work that we do together. So you literally impact my life hourly. And it's just such an honor to be here. It really is. I cannot stress that enough. And I'm so excited for what's to come in these next couple months with you. I think people are going to be, I think it's really going to change people's lives. And I'm so excited to be a part of that process.
I love you.
Love you.
Teamwork makes the dream work.
Yes.
That's a real
Progress, not perfection, people.
Exactly. Exactly. All right, you guys. Also, just to throw this in at the end, if you haven't rated and reviewed this podcast, we would love it so much. We work our ass off to just keep this podcast growing strong for you. Also know that when you do that for us, you are supporting others because it just helps to expand the visibility of this podcast so more people